Hello, welcome to our Marketing Monday live stream. I am sorry I'm a few minutes late. My tripod collapsed. So I have just been getting everything set up for this. Let me make sure that people on Facebook can see this, and I'm going to pin the video as well. There we go. Welcome to our Marketing Monday. We are talking about all things consistently inconsistent marketing today. So if you've been waiting in the waiting room area, then thank you for joining. Do introduce yourself in the comments if you haven't already. My name is Maneksha and I'm your host for today. So this is the second week in a row for Marketing Monday. And if you've been in my audience for a while, you'll know that I have done these inconsistently for the last couple of years because of a variety of chaotic life circumstances. So the fact that I've got a streak of 2 feels like a really good topic for consistently inconsistent marketing, because regardless of all of that, my business has continued to grow. So even though I'm not showing up live on social media very often, even though I post infrequently, even though I'm not necessarily perceived as being publicly available via real-time channels, my business is still growing behind the scenes. So I am eminently qualified to talk to you about being consistently inconsistent. So I have just had a few tech things today that have just not gone my way. My slides would not load, my tripod collapsed, but we're here and it's all good. So welcome. It's good to see people here from Hudson, Wisconsin in the US. Tanya's here from Belgium. Great to see you, Tanya. Hope things are going really well with you. Amanda is here from Kansas City. Go Chiefs. Taylor Swift is to thank for the fact that I have finally shown an interest in American football. Cindy is in Florida, and we've got Audrey from Baltimore as well. So Josh is here from NYC. Great to see you here, Josh, as well. So we are talking all things consistent inconsistency, and I did send an email around to my mailing list about this earlier today. I do actually have a tool for you connected to this. I don't have my slides to hand, but I do have a handy tool. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to give you access to it, and then I'm going to talk you through it, and we're going to talk about what it means to be consistent. But I would love to hear from you in the chat what your relationship is with consistency. Is it something that you enjoy? Is it something that you feel like you're good at? Is it something that you maybe don't have a particularly good relationship with, but feel like you should, and it kind of hangs over you a little bit? So do let us know in the chat. It would be awesome to hear how you feel about it. So I'm going to share my screen, and we have got Marketing Magic up on the screen. So if you don't have Marketing Magic, you can get a free trial. So you can still use this for free. It's a tool that I have just built as a fun extra for those who are already in Marketing Magic. If you don't have it already, then you can just set up a free trial. So I'm going to put the link to that in the chat. Try Magic, and I'm going to pop that there. So it's just on the screen as well. heymanex.com/trymagic will take you to the trial, and you can sign up for a free trial. Ginny, yes, there will be a replay. You can watch it on the same link that you have joined this live with. So Marketing Magic is the software tool that I have built and that I develop. And over the weekend, while I was mulling over the topic for consistency, I added in a little miscellaneous section called Maneksha Magic, because I created this marketing routine builder. So this is a tool that will help you to take action for the things that are going to move the needle in your business without feeling overwhelmed by it. This ties into consistency because the things that we often feel like we should be consistent with aren't necessarily things that we enjoy doing or that we want to be doing. And they're also sometimes not the things that are going to be actually helping us to reach our goals anyway. So releasing yourself from that a little bit can be incredibly helpful. But this marketing routine builder is really designed to help you cut through the overwhelm. So if you already have a Marketing Magic account, you can find your way over to this. I did link it in an email out to everyone today. If you have not yet got an account, when you sign up for your trial, it will ask you some questions as you join Marketing Magic, and then you will be able to just edit your brand information and select it from this drop down here. So if we think about how much time we have available to us in a given week, put in the chat how many hours a week you spend on marketing at the moment. I have a training that was first done in maybe 2019, it might have been 2018, but it was a training masterclass called Marketing in an Hour a Day. And the whole premise was that we can get the things done that we need to move our businesses forward in terms of growth if we prioritize our marketing and the things that are going to grow our business as the things that we do at the start of the day when our energy is best. So it's how do we use our energy resources as well as our time and our financial resource and all of the other things that we're managing in our businesses. So if we take the first hour of the day to do things that are specifically related to marketing, then those things are the things that are going to help us to continue to grow beyond our reactions to things like our customer service inquiries and all of those things. And I am thankful to be at a point in my business now where I do have a team to support me for the things that would previously keep me in the sort of things that aren't going to actively keep growing my business, and to respond to things that I don't necessarily have as much time to respond to now. But the idea is that we are prioritizing the strategic work that is going to help us to move forwards. Now, if you are not working full time in your business, you might think, I don't have every single day. I don't have an hour every single day. And this is where this idea of consistently inconsistent comes in. If we are inconsistent naturally, being aware of the sort of overarching patterns of our energy and of how we're spending our time is something that is really, really helpful. So this routine builder is designed to be flexible around whatever your work days look like, and you can you just need to kind of be aware of what you have available to give. So you might be doing 12 hours of marketing at the moment because you're sat scrolling on social media and responding to people's questions and so on. But if your ideal situation is to only spend 4 hours a week doing marketing tasks, then that is the number that we're going to put in there. What is your current primary goal? So what is the thing that you're working towards in your business this quarter? What is your primary marketing goal? What have you set for this particular 90-day focus, or even this year if you tend to do more annual goals? But what is something that you're working towards? So I've got grow email list to 10,000 subscribers, which is also the default there. And then which marketing channels do you use regularly? So this isn't like all of the ones that you use ideally. It's not like every single marketing channel that your business has a presence on. It's the ones where you regularly are showing up. So for me, I've got Facebook. I don't use Instagram so much. I'm not going to use that in this particular example. I'm going to put email. Let's put weekly email newsletter, weekly blog post, and then podcast. Okay, so that's just the bare bones of what I put in there. I'm going to hit create, and then we've got two different versions of your weekly routine. So we've got the tasks in terms of by week, and then we've also got them split by high to low impact. So if we look at the weekly tasks, this has given me specific things that I should be thinking about doing each week for this particular platform, and it's also given me a time. So if you are consistently inconsistent person, having a timer is a really great shout. And I'm going to lean over here. I have one of these visual timers, and you can just set it to the number of minutes that you have it visible. This is going to drive me nuts because it's it does click, and I don't it might still click. So if you can hear that, I apologize. But having a visual timer is a really great way to make sure that you stay focused on taking action for the things that are going to help you move the needle forwards. And that is a really great purchase as far as things that help me be productive go. But setting a timer and making sure that you're doing it in the sort of least amount of time possible is a really great way to really help you get things done that are priorities and to move the needle on things, because you're like, I've got 1 hour. In that time, I need to do, as this says, create and schedule 3 engaging posts, talk to some people, and then look at getting some shareable news from other pages. But that is giving me the weekly things that I should be doing on a routine. And I could do that for 4 weeks and then measure the results and see what kind of impact it's had on my business. And then potentially come back here and recreate another routine that is going to be reflective of the channels that I want to use for the next 30 days. Email newsletter, so design and write the content, include a call to action, and create a segment of my email list to target the delivery of that. An hour for a blog post. Again, if you use Marketing Magic, you can probably get your blog post done in about 25 minutes. But you can just see here that we've got some specific tasks that are going to help that blog post move the sort of longer term traffic in our business towards the topics that we are writing about now. That is something that we are going to see long-term gain from. And then podcast for an hour. Plan and record the podcast episode for the week, edit and finalize the episode for publishing, and promote the podcast on social media and other platforms. So then there's some overall focuses here that it doesn't always generate these, but those are given just to help with staying on track. And then I love this. It was like a bit of an extra thing. I'm not sure how other people will feel about it. But this is a to-do list that is separated into high impact and low impact tasks. This is markdown, so if you send it to like Notion, for instance, it will have the headings and things in that you want it to. But high impact tasks, so email newsletter optimization, subject lines, doing testing, analyzing previous campaigns. Then we've got ad campaign management and podcast guest outreach and content creation. So these are all things that are going to help move the sort of visibility priority there forwards. And with the newsletter optimization, obviously it is a goal that when you grow your email list, you grow it with engaged people, not just people. And then lower impact tasks, social media engagement, so email list cleanup, SEO audit, and performance tracking. So those are things that are not necessarily going to have an immediate impact on that goal that you're working towards right now, but they're still going to be really good quality things to do to help maintain the overall health of your marketing. So if you are logged in to Marketing Magic, I'm going to put the link to this in the chat. And I'm just going to replace that on there. So it's just the routine builder. And it is something that I hope will help you feel a little bit unstuck. In classic Monextra form, I did design a version of this originally that was way more complicated, but I was like, nope, streamline it, streamline it. But at some point, I am looking at how to create one that gives you the specific pieces of content to create that week as well, in terms of your overall goals for the week. So right now, this is the least overwhelming version that is going to help you get unstuck if you've been feeling a bit overwhelmed about what to do. So what we often are lacking when we're struggling with consistency is a to-do list that aligns with our interests and what we actually want to be doing. So hopefully with this, if you can see the sort of, put the channels in that you enjoy showing up on, what is it that you love doing and what are the things that you enjoy doing, then you're not feeling stuck by the items on your to-do list that are the should-do items. So yeah, that's the marketing routine builder. If you've got any questions about this or you want to see another example of this, then let me know in the chat. I am more than happy for us to create a fictional business and create something that is a little bit different as another example, if you want to see that. So consistency. We've got a few people who have been replying in the chat. So I'm going to have a look at the comments and then we're going to talk a little bit more about how to set up marketing systems that do not require you to be consistent. So Audrey is consistent with things that she enjoys doing. Me too. So that is, you're in good company here. Rush out. Rashonda does not have a good relationship with it, but it's something that you strive for, which creates a bit of anxiety. So I think that's probably the camp that I'm in as well. I know that I'm not, but I feel like I should be. And we're going to reframe that slightly. Spoiler, if you have read my email already, you'll know where I come out on that. Watercolor wizardry, I'm consistently inconsistent. The Wicker Woman, I used to be very consistent, but over the last few years, it's flown out of the window. Awesome. Just thinking about marketing count. Yes. So thinking about marketing does count if you're thinking about the strategy of your marketing. If you're just thinking about doing marketing, then unfortunately that does not count. But if something in the universe changes and we can start doing marketing by osmosis, I will be the first one to shout about that. So yeah. Okay, so Angela, sometimes 10 hours a day or more when I'm creating a landing page. Yes, that is a classic example of a time-intensive task. Sporadic total of about 10 hours. I can easily post, but there's no engagement. And that is what we want to talk about. So consistency is a meaningless value for your marketing. So I want you to leave today's live feeling released from the expectation to be consistent, because there are people who are consistent and who have just been putting out content every single day for months or years, and their business is no better off for it, or their business has grown a fractional amount compared to the amount of effort that they have put in, which if they looked at their numbers, actually they would be working for less than minimum wage, and actually a lot less than minimum wage in a lot of instances. So we can have this striving for consistency because it is put out there as a value. And somebody like Gary Vaynerchuk talks a lot about posting all the time on social channels and posting regularly and, content. That is absolutely great if you have a team of 8 people to follow you around and capture your every thought and turn it into a snappy video. But the reality is that a lot of us are not like that. And if you're in my audience, there's a really good chance that you are more creative, that you potentially are quite introverted, or you've got limited amounts of social energy. And so welcome, Yori people. The idea of putting ourselves out there and being the influencer for our business and being the personality behind our business is something that makes consistency feel quite difficult and quite draining. So the idea of posting all the time is really tied up in how much social energy we have, how much space we have to have coherent thoughts about our business that day. And we can end up, falling into a pattern of just sharing what's going on in our personal lives on our business channels, because we're like, I need to show up, I need to post something, so I'm just going to talk about this today. And all in all, it leads to quite blurred boundaries around what we feel is work and what isn't work and all of that stuff. And that's a whole nother conversation for another marketing or business specialist to talk about. But the idea of consistency being this thing that we strive for is often given to us by people who do not have the lifestyle responsibilities that we have. So people whose jobs involve having thoughts and they have people to capture them, people who don't have primary parent responsibilities, people who aren't struggling with chronic illness, people who don't have ADHD, lots and lots and lots of different nuance there. And so the standard of consistency has been created by people for whom consistency is easy because their life is built around their ability to, work and make money without any other demands on their time or energy. So consistency as a value and as something that we should strive for is actually one of the worst things that we can strive for when it comes to our marketing, because it leads us to do the same things and repetitive things over and over and over again, and take away from that, oh, it's great, it's fine, I'm doing marketing because I've done it every single day. And actually, just because you've done it every single day doesn't mean it's having the impact that you want it to have on your business. And I've made some bold statements in my email list. I'm going to make them here as well. But in my opinion, consistency can be the enemy of creativity. And if you are a solo business owner, then your ability to think creatively and think differently is something that is setting you apart from much bigger businesses. And it is your competitive advantage when you are in spaces where other businesses have more team members, higher revenue. The idea of being consistent is a blocker to some of the sort of creative and innovative things that we can do when we have the ability to think quickly and to make decisions without a big team to think about and all of those things. So when you are thinking about the values that you do your marketing with, we want to, instead of saying, I wish that I could be more consistent, or I wish that I could, the lack of consistency is my biggest problem. Instead, we want to think about, okay, what is it that I want from my marketing? I want my marketing to grow my business. So therefore, marketing that grows my business needs to be impactful. It needs to be efficient because it needs to be, time managed within my available time. It needs to be excellent. It needs to be creative. It needs to land with the right people. And so instead of us feeling like the lack of consistency is our challenge in marketing, instead we can reframe the problem and say, okay, well, at the moment there is a lack of efficiency because I'm having to show up and do everything in real time. And actually what I want to have is some automations so that I can show up for 2 or 3 days a month with really, high energy and the best version of my professional energy, and not feel like I have to do that every single day in order for my marketing and business to grow. So when we're thinking about the idea of what consistency looks like, that can be automated. You can build out email sequences. And I talked about that a little bit in my mailing list. But you do not need to be putting content out every single day or every single week in order to be growing your business. You can work in bursts that reflect your energy and that reflect the current projects and campaigns that you're working on, and set them up in a way that means that people are still going to be coming to your business even during the quieter periods. I'm very cognizant of there being a mix of people and business models in the chat and the comments. I've worked a lot with people in e-commerce, in the course creator space, in coaching and service provision. But ultimately, when we look at any of those business models, there are things that we can be talking about all the time that are timeless, that don't require us to send a weekly newsletter with current and up-to-date information. So if you decide that you want to close your business and get a job in an office, maybe you want to train to be an accountant, then consistency is a really great personality trait to have. If you want to show up and every 30 days you want to do the exact same tasks over and over again and reconcile all the lines, and that is your work cycle, then consistency is a really great thing to be inclined to as a human. But if that is not you, and you are a business owner and you are somebody who has started a business because you have a very specific thing that you want to be putting out into the world, then having a lack of consistency is actually a positive thing, and it is a shadow side of the creative strengths that have allowed you to grow your business to the point that it's at today. And that's really the takeaway that I want you to leave with, is that you don't need to feel anxious about a lack of consistency. You need to just alter your system slightly to facilitate it, because the amount of shame that people carry with them and anxiety that they carry with them because they're not being consistent and they're not ticking all the boxes that they think should be ticked, actually stops you from growing your business in 100% of the time. Bold claim, but I'm going to make it. So if you think about the things that you enjoy doing in your marketing, one example for me is I love doing really fun, creative, like lead generation things. So one year, I think it might have been 2018, it might have been 2019, but I had this idea for a gift bot, chat bot for my marketplace business. And basically it was a shopping assistant, a personal assistant, delivered via chat, and it highlighted like 60 different artists from the marketplace and had different gifts for different categories. It was honestly the most like chaotic thing behind the scenes. It had all of these it just, all the logic interconnected. It was very much a lot. And it was super, super fun, and I really enjoyed it. And for me, that kind of thing, and it got we had loads of people went through it, found it really helpful, bought things from it because they hadn't seen them on the website elsewhere. But creating some of those things is where I get a lot of joy, and I've got some absolutely banging lead magnet projects coming up that I'm working with an illustrator for, and and that are really, really fun and visual. And that is something that in marketing gives me a lot of joy. So I might not be showing up all the time on, Facebook and starting conversations all the time and spending a lot of social energy talking to people on Facebook, but I am doing things that I'm like, I know that this is an asset for my business, is going to bring people into my mailing list who are interested in the problems that I'm solving for them. So when you think about the idea of like being more of something, yes, consistency, fine. It's easy to do that. Like once you're doing things you enjoy, consistency is easy. But what are the things that are not a priority at the moment that you would love them to be? Like, do you want it to be more efficient? Would you have fun, like making your marketing more efficient and seeing how much time you could save by automating certain things and building some automations? Can you make it more engaging? So can you do some research into your customers and figure out how to start having more conversations with people on social media? How can you create spaces for people to talk about things that are related to your business? How is your marketing going to be more engaging? Is your marketing going to be more excellent? Are you going to have a commitment to it being, and I don't mean excellent as in perfect, I mean excellent as in as applicable and relevant to your ideal customers as is possible to do. And the way that you execute your messaging and your positioning and your content is exactly what your customers need to hear, because you're really committed to excellence in your marketing and communication. Do you want it to be more creative, so that when you put things out, even if you're not doing it all the time, they have a much higher rate of engagement because they're interesting, because they interrupt the sort of things that people are seeing all the time? Like, what are the things that you really value and that would be exciting for you to spend more time thinking about in your marketing? And once you unlock that, the consistent inconsistency comes from this just being able to block out a bit of time to build out your email automations. Basically, the tasks are not the issue. It's always the fact that we're overthinking things. So those are just some thoughts kind of on the behind the scenes of consistency in marketing. It is a conversation that I've had so many times, and when I sent out the sort of like mini survey last week, the number of people who just had written and were obviously just feeling really bad about their lack of ability to be consistent. But you can be not consistent and still have an incredibly successful business that meets all of the goals and needs that you want it to meet. It's just that you will need to spend your energy and your non-financial assets and resources slightly differently. So let me just go into the chat. And yeah, an hour a day or less. So I would say if you're working of your hour, like marketing and advertising, you can spend 30% of your budget on advertising. That's how much it costs to acquire a new customer. Obviously, you want your overall costs to be much lower than that. But your marketing is a really big cost to your business, whether it is your time or your finances, because it is the way that you're getting like the things that your business has to say out into the world to both your customers, but also people who aren't your customers yet. So the marketing communications piece, really even things like customer support come under marketing and the sort of communications team because of the way that communication is done. So if you're thinking about all of those things, anywhere where your business is communicating, and you think about marketing as communication, spending 30% of your time doing things that are marketing related is a reasonable sort of ballpark. So if you've got 15 hours a week, I would say try and spend 4 hours of that doing things that are marketing specific, because when you're creating systems and content, it makes your future marketing easier as well. But an hour a day is a good one. Does this work for Instagram? Yes, it does. The right marketing and content is my goal. How do we measure which marketing efforts are paying off and worth our time? Yes. So this is where your your data and your numbers come in. So knowing which platforms are bringing people over to your website to spend money on your website is a classic one in terms of conversion rates. With Google Analytics, you can see conversion rates by platform, and Pinterest, interestingly, had a 0.03% conversion rate for my marketplace. Instagram has like a 0.5% conversion rate. And then SEO and organic search has a 5.5% conversion rate. So there are things like that where you can have a look and see what traffic sources are coming through and like what the conversion rate looks like. That is one way of just knowing what the sort of immediate impact is, as well as longer term impact as you're creating things and spending time in marketing channels. With things like your social media, like your engagement, the amount of engagement and reach that you're getting are going to be really relevant. With email marketing, it would be things like your open rates and your click-throughs, and you're really looking at like, okay, this is the channel that I'm using. How many people have engaged with this week? What has been the sort of impact to my business this week with that? If you're getting reach on Instagram and you're getting very few people clicking through and making a purchase, it can be a very demoralizing space to be, because it feels like you're putting a lot of legwork in and spending a lot of social energy, but not necessarily seeing the sort of revenue come through for that. So I will talk about like these metrics a little bit more. Tanya, I believe you've got access to my understanding marketing metrics, and there is a slide deck in that which has a breakdown of the different marketing numbers and then what they mean for your business, and how you can improve them. So that is something that is worth taking a look at if you're wondering how you can kind of go about it. It's split into like search marketing, email marketing, advertising, website metrics. I can't remember what else is on there, but it's split into sections, so it's quite easy to navigate through and look at that. Laura, can you do an example of a solopreneur just starting up with a service-based business, serving local customers, maybe something fun like an esthetician or nail tech? Yes, absolutely. Love that idea. Awesome. So let me share my screen and we'll set that up. And I'm going to, here we go. So this is, again, I'm obviously in Marketing Magic here. So we're going to start a new business, and gorgeous nails, E17 English UK, and then I'm going to put nail artist, friendly, I'm going to put funny, style, warm, informal, and then voice, let's put first person. Areas of expertise, gel nail art, biab nail art, acrylic nails. What do you sell? Nail art and gel nails, manicures and gel nails. There we go. Why did you start your business? To make, to help people in Walthamstow enjoy, get nail art more easily, and I'm going to put affordably as well. There we go. Your ideal audience. So for that, we're just going to put the typical person who might come into a salon. So we're going to put women in Walthamstow, aged, let's do 25 to, let's do 22 to 65. There we go. What do you help them do? Have beautiful nails and hands by providing high quality manicures and nail art services. And then we're going to leave everything else blank. I'm just going to hit save. It's going to have a little think about it and build some things behind the scenes, because I'm connected into Google and Notion. So it's going to create a little page over on my Notion and Google for this as well. So it's just going to think about it for a bit longer than it would normally. And then we will be able to go over to the, if you have a trial account, by the way, you will have set some of that up, and you can just go in here and click on edit brand, and you can add in your extra details there. But this is basically our set up, all done and dusted. So let's go over to all tools now, and we're going to go back to the marketing routine builder, and we're going to click on Gorgeous Nails E17, and we're going to say 8 hours a week for marketing, and we're going to have the primary goal is get 20 new clients per week into our local salon. And then we're going to put Facebook, Instagram, local media. And then we're going to click on create and see what it does. It'll have a little think about it. And we're also going to do the high and low impact tasks. So weekly task list, Facebook, create 3 engaging blog posts, showing nail art designs. So that would be 2 hours. That is taking into account, obviously, creating the actual creative there as well. Respond to comments and messages promptly, share client testimonials before and after photos, Instagram, post daily updates of nail art with relevant hashtags, engage with followers, post by liking and commenting, use Instagram stories to showcase behind the scenes content, local media, contact local magazines or newspapers for a feature on the salon for an hour, submit press releases about special promotions or events for an hour, general tasks, analyze marketing data to track progress towards the goal, plan next week's marketing activities based on performance analysis, 1 hour. So that is obviously an 8 hour. Let's put 3 hours and see what it does with 3 hours. And we're just going to click on create there. And we have got Facebook. This has definitely gone over 3 hours already, 2 hours, 4 hours. It's stuck with the 8 hour mark. But again, it's sort of, I'm just going to do a little refresh there and see if we can. Yeah, there we go. So Facebook, Instagram, local media, but it hasn't added in that extra step of analyzing and planning for next week, because actually 3 hours is not very much time to have there at all. So high impact task, content creation for social media, 4 hours. And you know, if you're a local business, local social media is a really great thing to utilize. And so is like your Google listing, your Google Maps listing as well. Creating engaging nail art posts for Facebook and Instagram, engaging with your audience, doing a local media campaign, and then scheduling, analyzing, and researching. Again, I didn't recreate that with the 3 hours. So let's click on that and see what it generates now. So 3 hours is too little, apparently, for AI. It's still giving me a little bit longer. Engage with followers on Instagram, respond to comments, likes, and posts, create Facebook ad campaign. That's a little bit more of an advanced one, but pitching local media outlets, and then low impact tasks, regular Instagram posts, sharing client testimonials, engaging in Facebook groups. So it just is giving you a place where you can get started and helping you to sort of stay focused on the outcome of your marketing, which in this instance, you know, getting 20 clients per week. How do you connect it to the things that need to happen in order for your business to be sustainable for both your energy levels, but also financially? And that is something that we can kind of get a bit lost in with the noise of social. Awesome. Yeah. Hey, Carrie, it's good to have you here. So basically, the routine builder tool is just a little something to help you get unstuck and to sort of focus in on the tasks that are going to help you move the needle with the marketing channels that you enjoy the most. And the idea of blocking time and batch working, I actually do batch work naturally, but I just hate it as a recommendation because it's so generic and vague. And it's just like, oh, if you struggle with productivity, you need to batch work and time block. And it's like, okay, great. What does that look like functionally? What does that mean for the systems and the things and the tasks that I'm doing all the time? Because actually there are some things that you can't batch work, because if you're posting on social media, you have got to show up and respond to people in the comments. Otherwise, your social media reach is going to be really poor. And that has to be done in real time after you've posted something. So there are certain things where it's like, it's all well and good saying to batch work my social media, and that will, make it more consistent. But you still have to have some presence available to go in real time as well. So when we're thinking about things like batch working and time blocking, those are really helpful tools to have to help us be mindful of our time when we are doing the tasks that we know to be high impact. But they're not a solution in and of themselves. And for some people, batch working actually isn't great because you've got loads of interruptions happening all the time. And the idea that we can just shut ourselves away like a little hermit in a cave or like some monk in a monastery, and just ignore all of the responsibilities and demands on our time and attention to focus for 8 hours on, or 3 hours even, is something that shows a bit of a disconnect with what the reality of life is like for most people. So when we're thinking about batch working, whatever that means for you, lean into it if you want to. But what I'm really trying to get at is, if you've got 4 hours in a week and you can actually carve out 2 sets of 2 hours or 4 lots of 1 hour, and you know that what you want to do this week is get your automated email sequence up and running, that is something that you can focus on across those 4 blocks of time. But it's going to have a really long-term impact, even if the short-term impact feels a bit stressful because you're not being present on social media. So I talked about the sort of focus on automation and doing things once and then having them run. Email marketing is a really good example of that. And the example that I shared in my newsletter is just, it's a strategy that's been around for a while. I know that Elizabeth Goddard covers this in her email course, and I know that there are people who offer it as a service. It is a strategy that's been around, for as long as email marketing has been around, in the sense that when you're bringing people in, you want to lead them through as much nurturing as possible without having to be committed to sending a real-time weekly newsletter. And so if you have a welcome sequence, that's great. If you have an abandoned cart sequence, that's going to be great for your conversion rate as well. Those are 2 examples of automation. But the next step there that you can spend some time on, that is going to release you from a lot of like week-to-week guilt, is having an automated email nurture sequence. So what are some of the timeless things that your customers have questions about or need support with that you can drop out as part of a nurture sequence, and then just once they've finished your email list, send them into it, and then send them an email a week, through that. And I knew someone back in like 2016 who had 18 months worth of emails set up like that. And every 3rd or 4th email, she would be sending people to a sales page or to one of her products, and that cycle would just continue. And if she was doing a launch, she would pause it and do the launch and then set it back running again. So there's lots of things that you can do that release you from having to be creating content week by week, and instead you might just have if you do enjoy writing and you can take like a 6-hour day or whatever and just create 6 emails, that's 6 weeks worth of content, and you're not gonna have to think about it again anytime soon. But if you have an extra slot too, you can just add an extra email into that sequence, and it can be a really great way to keep your audience warm. So that's just something that I had talked about in my email newsletter that I wanted to mention here as well, because it's obviously something that as far as regular contact with an audience who have asked you to be in touch with them, that is something that can really help you create that connection and create spaces to engage with your customers and potential customers. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about with this is again, maybe banging on a little bit of a drum if you know anything about me historically, but search engine optimization, blogging, content marketing, videos, podcasting, the reason these types of content work really well for businesses and people spend a lot of money to create them is because they are assets to your business. So you are taking an asset approach to creating your marketing materials. That means that they are going to give you return on investment for 3 years or more. There are things that I did years ago that still help people today, and I have not necessarily gone in and done any recent updates to them, but because I created them and they're good quality and they're things that my audience needs, that is still creating benefit for people now as well. So when you're taking an approach to content marketing, whether that is audio or video or article based content, those things will exist on the internet far beyond your current energy and capacity levels. And so taking an approach to your content creation that focuses on writing and creating content that talks to your customers' problems, needs, goals, challenges, desires, automatically will give you resilience and traffic over the course of the next three plus years. So the key thing with it is that it needs to be about your customers, not what you had for dinner last night. And we want to, think about how we're talking about our customers and what they're doing, instead of us feeling like we need to have some kind of like lifestyle content connection, because a lot of people do feel like they need to have a lifestyle platform in order to promote their business, and it's simply not true. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in terms of consistency. I'm sorry the slides didn't work out, but I gave you a screen share with the marketing routine builder, and hopefully that's really helpful for those of you who were excited about it when I shared yesterday. Loads of people were like, I really want this. So hopefully that's helpful. But the key thing really to take away from this is that consistency is just the most basic thing, right? You don't need to be talented or gifted in order to show up and be consistent. It's not it is something that some of us aren't great at, right? And it is a talent, but it's not the only talent, and it isn't the talent that is necessarily going to grow your business. Like, the thing that is going to help you grow your business is a version of the thing that's gotten you here, and the consistency isn't necessarily the missing piece. So if you instead think about your marketing and think about how can you be more creative, how can you be more efficient, how can you be more impactful, how can you be more excellent, those are much more interesting questions to ask that are going to help you spend more time in your zone of genius and feel excited about what it is that you're putting out into the world, instead of feeling guilty about the fact that another day has passed and I haven't posted that thing that I wanted to post on Facebook or Instagram. So when you are approaching your marketing, just taking that approach of like, how can I be more creative with this today? How can I be more creative with this week? Is often a much more enjoyable way to approach things. And the side effect is that you end up being more consistent because you're actually enjoying what you're doing. So it's like a sneaky little double bluff. Awesome. So Laura, are the weekly tasks meant to be repeated each week or just for the week ahead? I'm not sure if I'm seeing a routine or a list of one-off tasks. So that would be a routine that I would stick with for like 30 days at least, and then assess your metrics, see how your business has grown. What results are you getting? Have you gotten sales and growth and business growth from the activities that you're doing? And then potentially you might want to say, okay, I've spent some time doing Facebook, Instagram, email, and my blog, but Instagram didn't have a great conversion rate, so I'm going to remove that down the priority list, and I'm going to put Facebook, YouTube Live, email, and blogging, and you can switch up your channels that way. So if you change, basically with anything, I would always recommend doing every week to 2 weeks, just making sure that you're happy with the direction that everything is going in, but having 30 days of showing up and doing 3 posts a week, for instance, so that you can then make an assessment with the data, because once you've got 4 weeks of data, you're more likely to see a bit of a trend. Whereas if you finish after a week, you're not going to get a good enough trend to be able to make a final decision. But if you change your business focus, let's say with that first example, I had grow my email subscribers to 10,000. Let's say that I hit 10,000 email subscribers. Sorry, my laptop is about to die. Let me plug that in. Let's say I hit 10,000 email subscribers. So then my goal or focus changes. And so in that case, I might look at creating a new marketing routine, because I know there's been a substantive change in the focus of what I'm doing as well. But the idea of the routine is that it is going to be at least for 4 weeks. And then you can always change it if you decide to change the focus of your marketing channels. If your capacity changes, you can drop a channel, reduce your hours, create yourself a new routine. But the idea is that it's focusing on the specific channels that are a priority for your business right now, and that work with the time that you have available without overstretching you or making you feel overwhelmed. So if there is a change in your capacity, let's say your hours go down or go up, if your business goal is reached and you set a new business goal, or you change direction with your business goal, and then every 4 to 8 weeks, I would be looking at just tweaking things, making sure that you're getting the impact and the results that you want with what you're doing. So hopefully that helps and makes sense. I totally want this to be a checklist. You can make it into a checklist if you want. Let me show you how I would make that into a checklist. Bear with me a second. And I'm going to pull up my Google Drive, and I'm going to show you how I would turn that into a checklist really quickly and easily. So I always have a Google Doc template that has my branding on, because if there is one thing about me, it is marketing routine. I'm going to label it February 2024 to April 2024. If there's one thing about me, it's that I will enjoy life so much more if my Google Doc looks pretty. Okay, so this is my Google Doc template. And then I'm going to put my marketing routine for Haymanexture, Feb to April 2024. There we go. Now I could just send this over, but I'm going to just copy and paste it, because if you've got a free trial account, you won't be able to integrate with Google or Notion. But if I copy and paste that, I can put weekly tasks, and then I'm just going to do a copy and paste here. And then I am going to reformat this and do my little checklist here. We've got some extra spacing there that we don't want to have. So this is how I would make that into a checklist. And then you can just repeat it as and when you want to. I can't talk and do on a Monday evening. So I love doing a little live on a Monday evening, but I also, especially today, because I released some new tools and I was doing a load of quality testing that is very detailed. And then it just means that I've reached the end of the workday with less brain power than I would normally have. And then I could do a little high and low impact tasks one as well. Okay, no, Markdown doesn't work for Google Docs, but anyway, then I would just delete all my things. There we go. And then I could have weekly tasks for February. And then let's say I get through February and then I decide that in March, I want to change things up. I'm just going to add that in here, and we could just say, okay, my focus in March is going to be Facebook, YouTube, and local media for this business. I'm going to create some new weekly tasks. And we've got a new weekly list here as well. So we could just do, again, a weekly task list there. So you can see that that is, we've done a bit of Instagram, maybe didn't like how the results were in terms of clients coming in. Although Instagram, if you are a nail art business, Instagram is absolutely where you can find clients. So do not take that advice out of this context. But let's say weekly tasks for March, or, you've got the option to see how things go with adding a YouTube video in there as well. So that might be how that changes. So that's how I would do that. And then you can just go through, take it off. You could go, all out and put post 1, post 2, post 3 on your checklist if you wanted to. The auto ideas, what to post, and links to the MM tools that help with each type will be amazing. Yes. So the stay tuned on that. I'm still working on a few bits and pieces for Social Magic that help with bulk creating things as well. So stay tuned. Awesome. Well, that brings us to the top of the hour. Katie, hello. It's good to see you. By the way, I've only just seen your comment. Katie Chappell is the live illustrator of dreams. She's amazing. And you should definitely go and check out her business and sign up to any events that she is doing the graphic notes for, because she's an icon. Great. So we've reached the end of the marketing Monday, marketing magic, marketing with Manexia, like so many M's, but we've reached the top of the hour. I hope that was helpful. Hope you enjoy getting your little marketing routine. Do let me know how you got on with it. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat and I will happily respond. Hope that you enjoyed this. The key takeaway is consistency is just, you're so much better than consistency as a goal. So you absolutely can use the talents and gifts that you have in your business to set a marketing value that is empowering and joyful and feels great and feels exciting, instead of having the weight of be more consistent as the thing that hangs over you. So I hope that you take that into this week and find some ways to do marketing for your business that bring you joy. And meanwhile, I will see you next Marketing Monday for a brand new topic. I can't remember what I'd written down for next week, but I've got some really good stuff coming up. So do stay tuned for that. And if you are a Marketing Magic customer, I will see you inside one of our customer support sessions some point this week, and hope you have a great week. And we're here to help if you need us. So enjoy the rest of your week. I hope it is full of new customers and all kinds of good fun. And I'll check in with you in 7 days' time for our next Marketing Monday.